All right, for the next one we have is the slash and thrust and slash. Now, if you have access to, and I don't, I haven't bought enough of them, but they do have practice, they call bolos, like actual Filipino machete things that you can use. Again, it's about as long as your short samurai sword. We tend to use these a lot more, so I had access to these, right? The length matches, it's about this long. It's considered a short sword, but it's a Filipino sword, not a Japanese sword. So don't get wrapped up in the shape of what I'm using. It's just a visual, that there should be one side that has a blade, right? The other side on the bolo, the last little bit of it is actually has an edge too, which is not the case in the short samurai sword. So you can actually cut with a bolo on this back end. And it doesn't curve quite as much, but there's a little bit of curve to the whole thing, right? And then down at the bottom, it's only really big enough for one hand to grip at a time. For the slash and thrust, really, you need to see the effect of it to have sword weapons in this, because it's showing now how we can thrust with it too. Of course, we use our sticks as our practice items. So when we practice it, we're gonna do it with the sticks. But you can imagine, these would be bladed weapons in this instance, right? So the slash and thrust and the thrust and slash. From our Heaven 6 position here, the difference is you're going to have one end will be pointed forward if it's going to thrust, or if it's going to thrust, right? One hand will thrust, the other one won't. So if we start with the thrust and slash, which I believe is the first one on there, the top one is pointed at your opponent. And instead of it being a cut on that angle 1, we're going to thrust, right? So this is where we get our angle 10. There's that, thrust on an angle 1 line. And what's happening here, and the reason we want to use a bladed weapon just to show you, is that this will stab, but then it will turn and it will cut its way out. That's how that works. Otherwise, it just gets stuck in whatever you stab. So it's stabbing, turning, and cutting as it comes through. That's that first one. First attack is here with the thrust that slices its way out, followed by the other hand here, which after we thrusted and cut out, this one's going to cut following it, just like our Heaven 6 pattern. It's going to follow on a 2. And then this one's going to end with a thrust that does return the way it came. It's going to stab in and pull back, and as it does, we come up onto the other side. And again, we keep the top one pointed at the opponent. So just the right side from here. It's thrusting, it's cutting out, the other one's following it on that cut, and then the last one is stabbing, and this one won't be as high. This is not coming down on the 2. This one's coming out on what we would call the 7. This is under the arm, that last one. And then as it brings it back, we're on the other side. So our angles of attack, we're thrusting on angle 1, which is also a 10. Angle 10 is the thrust on angle 1. We cut on the way out. We turn and we cut along angle 1 with our left hand, but we come back and we thrust on 7 under the arm with the back hand, and then as you pull it back, we're on the other side. All right, one more time, just the right side. We would just practice the right side with thrust, followed by the cut, followed by the thrust, and then come back on the other side. Now the left, that's our angle 11, or a thrust on angle 2, which would then cut its way out, right? You wouldn't just thrust and be able to pull it through necessarily. It would thrust in, you would have to cut your way out, followed by that angle 1 or angle 2 with the right hand. This will turn open so that the point is forward, and we're thrusting out now on a 6. We're still using the back of the hand, but this is our line 6, and we're thrusting with the back hand on that line 6. And then we come back again, and we're chambered on the right side. So again, it'll thrust, cut its way out. The other side will follow with the thrust, and then we finish with another thrust underneath the arm. Thrust slash thrust, right? Coming back again. One more time. Left thrust down, cut its way out, followed by the right hand, and then underneath the arm, stabbing outward, and then comes back again. When we put them together, we're thrusting and cutting with the right, followed by cutting with the left, stabbing underneath the arm, pulling it back for the other side. Then it's going to thrust, turn, and cut, follow with the right, and then stab underneath the arm and come back again, right? That is the thrust and slash pattern, right? So working on that one, if we're doing it with a partner here, I'm going to set this down real quick because we're going to use the sticks, right? But Peyton, you want to be my partner on this one. From our chambered position on the right side, yes, sticks touch here, right? These will just pass. The first ones won't make any contact at all, right? If you want to, you can be nice enough to your partner to let them touch, right? Maybe I let Peyton touch just to practice, right? Because it would make a contact and they would be turning and cutting their way out that way, right? But when we practice it in the flow, we just pass each other in the air. Then this is where we hit. We'll actually cross with number 2, hitting on that outward angle 1. On the last one, we're both stabbing under the arm. He stabs me here, I stab there, and be careful not to really stab each other hard. Boom, but I poke. Then we come back again, right? And then we do the other side. We thrust down, right? It's like thrusting and cutting, followed by this one hits, and then we come underneath the arm. And then we're right back again where we started. So it's thrust, cut out, slice, stab, pull back. Then the other side will thrust, slice out, slice there, stab, pull back again, right? Thrusting on 10, slice out, then coming out with an angle 1, and then stabbing on a 7. Coming back, we're thrusting on our angle 10, right, or 11 on this side, then slashing on 2, and then thrusting again underneath the arm. That is the thrust slash pattern. Now, for the slash thrust pattern, we just switch. And the trick to this one is our chambered position. Instead of being here, this is a little more comfortable to do thrust slash. For the slash thrust, you have to turn the bottom one, weapon out. I don't want the blade back because this is going to be my thrusting hand, right? So from this position here, I'm cutting down. You want to be sure not to catch your own blade, but it takes too long to turn that. So it's already forward. As this cuts across, now this one will stab and turn and cut its way out. Again, this is our angle 6. This is under the arm. It turns, it slices its way out on kind of like a 4, right? Coming right across the guts there. We're coming back with our outward angle 2, and as we pull it back, it comes back still pointing forward, and this one chambered high. And we're ready to go to the other side that way, right? So this is ready to cut, right hand's ready to cut, left hand's ready to thrust. And it goes cut, just like having 6, and crosses. As this one thrusts, we turn it, cutting its way out, and then this one comes back with one more. It's the Wittick cut, and as it comes back, it'll come back point up, right? Slices and comes back point up. As this one turns, then we're ready to go the other way. So slash, then thrust, and cut out, then slash, and then come back underneath again on the other side. Again, with the right, it'll start first with a cut, followed by the stab under the arm, and it cuts, then slash again, and as it comes back, we're chambered on the left. Then the left will follow the same way. We'll angle 2, it'll cross. Now it's a 7, but it's still thrusting under the arm, turning as it cuts out, coming back with an angle 1, and that turns point tip forward. So now that we're chambered back on the right side again, right? So from the left side, we slash left, thrust, turn to cut out, come back with that angle 1, and it points forward as we're chambered up again. All right, one more time on that. We'll go left slash, right thrust and cut, left slash again, and as it comes back, we're chambered and ready for the other side. So when the two come together, here, we'll be cutting across, slash, thrust out, turn and slash as you cut your way out, and then we hit again, right? And that's happening at the same time. As this is pulling away, this one is hitting. You can almost think of like you're pulling your weapon away from them as you hit them with that last one. That way, it's like clearing the sword free so that then this one can come back and cut, stab, turn as it cuts, and then this is hitting it, clearing it out that way with that last cut. And then we're right back on this side where it'll slash, cut, slash out, and come back, then slash, turn, cut as it comes, draws back out again, and then we're back on the other side again. So that is the slash thrust pattern with these. Go ahead, put these back here and show you with the sticks. Thomas, you want to try this one? Please. So we've got the bottom one pointing forward. That's going to be our thrust here. Top one is up high. Yeah. We're going to go first with the high, boom, and as it crosses, this thrusts out, right? We kind of cross wrists in this case, right? Because ideally I'd be hitting you there. Yeah, you'd be hitting me there. We'd both be turning and cutting across this way, right? That's what would be happening there. You'd be stabbing in, turning and cutting out. And as I'm cutting out, boom, I'm hitting with this one to pull that blade free again, right? So that pattern, though, to practice it with a partner, we're going to hit. This is going to thrust, but just pass, right? So we just pass each other here. Come back with the backhand and pull it back, point forward, so you're ready to go on the other side. So hit here, move towards me just a little bit. A couple steps, yeah. Again, back to here. We thrust and we pass, right, to practice. And then we hit and pull it back, pointing forward again. Slice, thrust, it's cutting its way out as this one hits. And then this comes back, pointing forward. Then the other side will hit. So thrust, turn and cut, and this one hits and comes back again, right? Right, left, turn, thrust, hits, pulls back. Then left, hits, turn, thrust, hit the left side, and pull back again. And that is the slash thrust pattern, right? So for the last section, what we'll look at is, again, how we can make those two independently. Thrust, slash on one side, slash, thrust on the other side.